Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will go for the anatomy of a large intestine. Last class we discussed about the anatomy of a small intestine. Today we will go for the anatomy of a large intestine. Its name only denotes it is a large in size as compared to a small intestine. Okay. The large intestine also is say as a large bowel. Okay, also say as a large bowel, and it is also called as a hind gut. Okay, it is mainly formed by the hind gut by the in the fetal life. Okay, the large intestine is the last part of the gastrointestinal tract and in the digestive system. It is the last part in the gastrointestinal tract and in the digestive system. Okay, in large intestine, mainly here no any juices or secretions of a juices are happen most of time, but here mainly occur absorption of a water. Here in large intestine, water is absorbed here, and the remaining waste material is stored as a feces. Okay, before being removed from the anus. Okay, here mainly water is absorbed. Okay, can go for the next slide. Introduction of a large intestine. Large intestine is extended from the ileocecal junction to the anus or ileocecal wall to the anus. It has divided as a cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and the anal canal. The average length is about 135 to 150 centimeter or 1.5 meter. Okay, it is a in introduction. It is a large intestine. It also say as a large bowel or hind gut. Okay, the large intestine is the last part of the gastrointestinal tract and the digestive system. It mainly extends from the ileocecal junction, where the ileum and cecal junction is there or joined together to the from to anus. Okay, or ileocecal wall to the anus. It has many segments. That segment is say as a cecum. Cecum is a also say as a it is a what blind pouch or blind sac. Okay, from that what ascending colon is start. Ascending colon will start from the junction of a ileo or cecocolic junction or upper lip of the ileocecal wall. Ileocecal wall, from that ileocolic junction. Okay, from that ascending colon is start. Okay, and cecum is present from the lower lip of the ileocecal wall. Okay, then transverse colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon. How you can see here in this, it is a one pattern is there. Okay, of the what large intestine. Okay, one usual it is say as a U shape, but it is not a U shape. Okay, it is go upwards, ascends. Then this is a hepatic flexure, and this is a splenic flexure, or it is a right flexure. This is a left flexure. Okay, superior right flexure. Here go in upwards, then it comes forwards and it becomes bended. Okay, transverse colon. Here it is a hepatic flexure. Here transverse go the backwards and downwards in the splenic flexure. Okay, this is a ascending colon. This is a cecum. This is a transverse colon. It is say as a transverse because it is present in the transverse. And this is a descending colon. And this is a sigmoid colon. And this is a rectum. Okay, and it is a anus. Okay, the most dilated part of the large intestine is one is rectum, another one is a cecum. Okay, cecum is 8 centimeter in wider, Cecum only one organ is there. It has the more breadth than the length. Okay, and rectum, it is a rectangle or it is straight. Okay, rectum, it is a straight. Okay, the average length of the large intestine, it is 135 to 150 centimeter or 1.5 meter. Okay, now you can go for the next line. The main special features of large intestine is it has the one thing than the small intestine. It has some special features that are the one is tinea coli. Okay, second one is circulations or hostrations. Okay, third one is epicoliki, means appendix epicoliki. Okay, you can go for the next slide. In that we can explain the all those things. Okay, you can see here in this. Okay, you can see it is a cecum. Okay, it is start from the right iliac fossa, right lumbar region. Then it is a transverse colon is present in between the right lumbar, umbilical and left lumbar region. Then this is the left iliac fossa and this is a hypogastric region. Okay, and here it is found the rectum and anal canal. This is a like this, it is present in the quadrants or position. Cecum, it is present just right iliac fossa, just above the lateral half of the inguinal ligament. Inguinal ligament, I already told from the anatomy of the anterior abdominal wall. Inguinal ligament is nothing but the folding of the external oblique muscle. It is from the superior iliac spine to the your pubic tubercle. Okay, this is for about your large intestine. Now we can go for the parts of the large intestine. Cecum, appendix. Some are considered appendix is a part of a large intestine and some are considered appendix is a parts of a small intestine. It is a what some deformities are there or what opinions, different opinions are there. Ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum and anal canal. These are the parts of a large intestine. This is from the appendix to the ileocecal junction. This is a part of a cecum. From ileocecal junction or ileocecal wall to the hepatic flexure, this is a ascending colon. In between the hepatic flexure or splenic flexure, right curvature to left curve, it is as a transverse colon. From right left splenic flexure to the sigmoid what your another one flexure, lower left lower flexure is as a okay, it is a descending colon. Then this is a sigmoid colon and this is a straight, this is a rectum and this is a anal canal. You can go for the next slide. Okay, in this you can see the diameters and length of the each one parts of a intestine. Cecum, it is 5 centimeter in length and 8 centimeter in width. It is only one organ is there or one part of the intestine here. It has the has the widest likely site of for it is has the what you can say as a, it is has more breadth than the length. Okay, cecum, it is has a more breadth than the length. Then ascending colon, it is 6 centimeter in length, as a 6 centimeter in diameter and 10 centimeter in length. Transverse colon, it is a 5 centimeter in length and 50 centimeter in, 5 centimeter in width and 50 centimeter in length. Descending colon, okay, it is 10 centimeter in length and 5 centimeter in width. Sigmoid colon, okay, this is a what you can say 50 centimeter in length and 5 to 4 centimeter in width. Rectum, it is a 15 centimeter in length. Okay, and anal canal, it is a 4 centimeter in the length. Okay, these are the diameter and length of the large intestine. Then some specialities or cardinal features of a large intestine. You can see one is the tinea coli. Second one is the appendix epiculci and saculations or hostrations. Tinea coli, it is from the Latin words. Tinea means ribbon-like. Okay, tinea coli means these are the ribbon-like structures or bands. Okay, that is they are mainly made by the longitudinal muscles of a large intestine. Okay, appendix epiculi. These are the already I explained epiculci, or you also say as a epiploic foramina. Greater epiploic. Epiploic, it denotes the omentum. Omentum denotes the fat. Okay, appendix means these are a pouch like structure, and which pouch it has the fat, that pouches are say as a appendix epiculci, and these are peritoneal pouches and they are filled with the fat. Okay, and saculations, there are say as a also say as a hostra or hostrations. Okay, or these are pouch like structures of a large intestine, they are say as a hostrations or saculations. Okay, these saculations mainly formed because of a tinea coli, because tinea coli length is smaller than the length of a large intestine. Because of that smaller length, what happens, that contracts the circular muscle of a large intestine or circular muscle of a large intestine. Because of that the circular smooth muscle of a large intestine contracts. Because of the contraction of that smooth muscle, there is formation of a saculations. Okay, you can see here in this picture, you can pouch. Okay, pouches like structures or sac like a structures. These sac like structures is say as a saculations, and this is a ribbon like band of a longitudinal muscle of a large intestine. Okay, this ribbon like bands is say as a tinea coli. Okay, here also one tinea. These are tinea coli are 3 in number. Okay, and these are, you can see here, this is a fat filled structure or yellow color structure. These are say as a epiploic appendices. You can see here, this is a ribbon like structure or ribbon band like structure. This is say as a tinea coli, and these are the fats. Okay, these are say as a appendix epiculci. You can see here in this picture also. Okay, you can go for the next slide. Okay, you can see as a cardinal features, or what I also say as a special features of a large intestine. They are the one is tinea coli. Okay, these are the longitudinal bands, ribbon like bands of a large intestine. These are mainly made by the longitudinal muscle of a large intestine. Okay, this length is very less than the intestine of a large intestine. Okay, and this is a fat filled sac. These are say as a appendices epiculci, and this is a sac like structures or pouch like structures of a large intestine. They are say as a saculations. Okay, and see here in this picture, this is a ribbon like structure. This is say as a tinea coli, and this is a sac like structures. Okay, these saculations form because the length of a tinea coli is lesser than a length of a large intestine. Okay, because of that, the pulling of a pulling of a or construction of a smooth muscle of a large intestine is happen. Because of that, what happen, the pouches, if anyone is pulling to the upwards, okay, that cause the pouching or movement, little bit movements of a large intestine or inner circular muscle. And this is a tinea coli. It is a outer muscle, longitudinal muscle band of a outer longitudinal muscle band. Okay, and covered by the peritoneum. In the cross section, this is look like this, that this is a circular musculature of a large intestine, This is the longitudinal muscles of a large intestine, and that muscles are covered by the what? Peritoneum, and this is a pouches of a peritoneum. Okay, these pouches are seen as appendices, and it is filled with the fat. That's why it is as a appendices epiculci or appendix epiculci. Okay, you can go for the next slide. Okay, now we can go for the tinea coli. The tinea coli are mainly for three in number. The importance of a tinea coli is identification of a large intestine, one thing. Another one is identification of a base of the appendix. Okay, where all the three tinea coli are joints, that is a nothing but a base of the appendix. You can see as this is a one tinea coli, this is another one tinea coli, here another one tinea coli. All the three tinea coli are joints, and from the it is a point denotes the base of a appendix. Okay, you can go for the tinea coli. Tinea coli are external longitudinal muscle bands of a large intestine. Tinea meanings it is ribbon like band or ribbon in Latin. Tinea coli are three separate longitudinal ribbons of a smooth muscles on the outside the large intestine. According to position of tinea coli, they are three in number or three types. One is tinea libra. Okay, this is anteriorly present. Tinea mesocolica and tinea omenthalis. These positions are, or these three types are, their position is different in different segment of a large intestine. Okay, you can go for that. Okay, in this picture you can see this is a red color. What you can see, or where is a red color can denoting. Okay, this is nothing but your tinea libra. Okay, and what is you can see as a blue color. Okay, this is say as a tinea mesocolica, and what you are seeing in the green color, this is a tinea omenthalis. Okay, these are the three in number. This is the tinea libra, tinea mesocolica, and tinea omenthalis. Tinea libra, it is anteriorly in cecum, ascending colon and descending colon. Okay, sigmoid colon, but it is inferiorly in the transverse colon. Okay, and tinea mesocolica, it is present posterior-medially surface in the cecum, and ascending colon. Okay, and descending colon and sigmoid colon. Okay, but it is placed posteriorly on the transverse colon. Then tinea omenthalis, it is situated posterior laterally here. You can see here. Okay, posterior laterally in the cecum, ascending colon and descending colon. Okay, and sigmoid colon, but it is situated anterior superiorly in the transverse colon. These are the about the three bands of a tinea coli. One is tinea libra, it is present anteriorly in the cecum, ascending colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon. Tinea mesocolica, it is present posterior medially in the cecum, ascending colon, and the descending colon and sigmoid colon, but it is and tinea omenthalis, it is situated posterior laterally in cecum, ascending colon, descending colon and sigmoid colon. And tinea libra, it is present inferiorly in the transverse colon. And tinea mesocolica, it is present posteriorly in the transverse colon. And tinea omenthalis, it is present situated on the anterior superiorly on the surface of the transverse colon. Like this arrangement of these three tinea coli are there. Now we can go for the appendices epiculci. Okay, these are the epiculci appendices or appendices epiculci or appendix epicolica. Omental appendices, these are the synonyms of the appendix epiculci, are small pouches of the peritoneum filled with fat and situated along the colon but are absent in the rectum. They are chiefly appended to the transverse and sigmoid colon, sigmoid part of the colon. However, their function is actually unknown. The appendices can become inflamed. A begins but painful process known as epipulci appendicitis, which can mimics like a acute appendicitis and other conditions respective their positions. Okay, you can see here in this picture I already explained. These are the ribbon like structures. They are say the tinea coli. These are the appendix epiculcis. This is, you can see, the longitudinal muscle of a large intestine. Because of this longitudinal muscle, this length is very less than the length of a large intestine. Because of that, what happened, the circular muscle of a large intestine, it is pulled up. Because of the pulling, there what happened, sacculations. Okay, sac like structure was formed. Okay, you can see here. Okay, and this large intestine is mainly covered by the peritoneum. That peritoneal covering is as a mesocolon. Okay, these sacculations or pouching of a large intestine is say as a, also called as a hostrations or hostra of a large intestine. Now we can go for the sacculation. The sacculations having or formed of a series of saccula or sac-like structures and expansions. The tinea coli run the length of the large intestine. Because the tinea coli is shorter than the intestine, the colon become sacculated between the tinea and forming the hostration. Okay, the hostra it is singular hostrum of the colon. The small pouches caused by sacculations, which gives the colon its segment appearance. Loss of hostra is a sign of chronic ulcerative colitis. Because of the in ulcerative colitis, it is a type of inflammation. Here all the three layers of a intestine is involved. Okay, means serosal layer, muscular layer and mucosal layer. Because of that, what happen, there is involvement of the inflammation of a intestine. In that there is lack of hostra. Okay, you can say in that it look like a pipe like structure in the x-ray. Okay, or in the barium meal enema. In that it loss of hostrations or pipe like structure, you can see that is ulcerative colitis. That inflammation is translucent, means it involves all the three layers. Trans means transverse inflammation of a whole part of the large intestine or layers of the intestine. You can go for the next slide. The outer longitudinal smooth muscle does not completely surround that large intestine. It consists of three separate bands of longitudinal muscles. They are say as a tinea coli. This tinea coli muscle is shorter than the length of a underlying length of a circular smooth muscle. When it is contracts, they forms a pouch-like structure, and these pouch-like structures are say as a hostrations. Okay, because of the pulling or because of the contraction, there what happened, the circular muscle of a large intestine, it forms the pouches. Because of that pouches, there is forms a sac-like structure, and that sac-like structures is say as a sacculations. Now it is a very important. Okay, now you can go for the difference between the small intestine and large intestine. First, it is a size. Size is small intestine is longer, that is about 6 meter. Large intestine it is 1.5 in meter or 150 centimeter. Okay, but small intestine is narrower than the large intestine, but large intestine is wider than the small intestine. Divisions: it divides into duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. A large intestine divides into cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and anus. Fixity: greater part of the small intestine is freely movable, and greater part of the large intestine is fixed. Circulations: absent in the small intestine, present in the large intestine, means hysterecin. Tinea coli are absent in the small intestine. Tinea coli are present in the large intestine. Villi are present in the small intestine. Villi are absent in the large intestine. Peyer's patches present in the ileum. Peyer's patches absent in the large intestine. Digestion and absorption: the complete digestion and absorption of digestion process and absorption in the small intestine. Complete digestion and absorption of digestive products also produces some hormones, and there is some secretions. But in the large intestine, it is mainly for the absorbed water from forms and eliminates the feces. Vitamin B and K are produced by the bacterial activity. Effects of infection and irritation in the small intestine: the mucosal irritation due to infection causes diarrhea, and in the large intestine, mucosal irritation due to the infection causes the dysentery. Common sites for it is small intestine. It is a common site for intestinal worms, typhoid, and tuberculosis. And it is large intestine for entamoeba, histolica, dysentery organisms, and carcinoma. This is the difference between the small intestine and large intestine. In short, you can say as a length, it is 6 meters, it is 1.5 meters. Caliber, it is narrow and it is wider. Tinea coli are absent in the small intestine, present in the large intestine. Circulations are absent, here they are present. Appendix epicular absent, here it is present. Villi are present in small intestine, absent in the large intestine. Plica circularis are present in the small intestine, absent in the large intestine. Peyer's patches present in ileum, but here it is absent. Crypts of liberculum. Crypts connects the obstructive cells and Penneth cells. The crypts contain numerous goblet cells, few obstructive cells, and no Penneth cells in the large intestine. You can go for the next slide. Now we can go for the anatomy of a cecum. Cecum, it is say as a blind pouch of a large intestine. From here only, this blind pouch only, it is connected to the jejunum and ileum of the small intestine and continues as a large intestine. It is a pouch connected to the small intestine and large intestine, and it is also say as a pouch or large tube-like structure in the lower abdominal cavity that receives the undigested food materials from the small intestine. It is considered as a first region of a large intestine. It is also say as a pouch. A cecum is a cul-de-sac, means especially that in which large intestine begins, and it is a blind pouch at the beginning of the large intestine. Cecum in meaning, or in the Latin, cecum means it is a blind pouch, and it is mainly situated in the right iliac fossa, in that it is just above the lateral half of a inguinal ligament. It is situated just lateral half of a inguinal ligament. Okay, and it is mainly present in the right iliac fossa. It is a one, it has a more width than the length. Okay, it is width is 8 centimeter and length is 6 centimeter in length. It is cecum, which is situated in the right iliac fossa above the lateral half of the inguinal ligament. It communicates superiorly with the ascending colon, medially at the level of the cecocholic junction, where the cecum and colic on junction. You can see here in this picture. Okay, this is the ileocecal valve, and this is valve has the two lips, and below these lips it forms the ileocecal junction. Okay, and the upper lips forms the coleocecal junction, and these are the two are the frenulums or folds. Okay, then go for next. In that, medially at the level of the cecocholic junction within the ileum. Posteriorly it is has a one opening, that is a appendix. Okay, and that as opening is has a wall, it has a wall of Gerlach. Okay, appendix, it is mainly situated in the right in 9 quadrant in that right iliac fossa. This is a inguinal ligament. This is the midpoint of a inguinal ligament. This is the medial side, and this is the lateral side. Lateral half of a inguinal ligament. Just above that you can see the cecum. Okay, cecum is present in the right iliac fossa. In this picture also you see as a, this is the inguinal ligament, this is the pubic tubercle, this is the superior iliac spine, this is the inguinal ligament, this is a midpoint of a inguinal ligament, just lateral, this is the medial end and this is the lateral end, lateral half of a inguinal ligament. Just above that you can see the cecum. In this also you can see that the cecum, and it is present on the posterior side on the just above the psoas major muscle and iliacus muscle. Can go for the next slide. Dimension, it is a 6 centimeter in long and 7.5 centimeter in the breadth or width. It is one of those organs of the body that has a greater width than the length. Can go for the next slide. Then in here we can go for the relationship of the cecum. Cecum, it is a one pouch like connection to the connections of the junction of a small intestine and large intestine. Okay, in that relations anteriorly it presents the anterior abdominal wall, greater omentum and coils of a small intestine. Posteriorly it has the two muscles. One is a psoas major muscle, another one is a iliacus muscle. Okay, this is a psoas major muscle. Okay, and here you can see as a iliacus muscle. Okay, and then two arteries. This is the right gonadal artery and this is a right iliac artery, and three nerves. One is a femoral nerve, genitofemoral nerve. Okay, then lateral cutaneous nerve of a thigh. This is a femoral nerve and this is a genitofemoral nerve. You can see here in this. Okay, can go for the next slide. Posterior it has a two muscles, one is psoas major muscle and the iliacus muscle. Arteries, two arteries, one is the right gonadal vessel and right iliac artery. Nerves, three nerves, one is the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve, femoral nerve and genitofemoral nerve. Can go for the next slide. In that you can see the anterior abdominal wall, coils of small intestine and greater omentum. In this picture we can see the posterior wall or posterior relationship of a cecum. You can see this is a psoas major muscle. Here you can got the iliacus and it has the three nerves. One is the lateral cutaneous femoral nerve, this is the femoral nerve and this is the genitofemoral nerve, and two vessels. This is the right gonadal vessel and this is the right iliac vessel. This is the posterior relationship of a cecum, and anteriorly it present omentum, coils of a small intestine and the anterior abdominal wall. Now you can go for the blood supply of a cecum. Cecum is mainly supplied by the ileocecal artery. Okay, ileocecal artery, it is a branch of a superior mesenteric artery. Okay, and ileocecal artery is further divided into appendicular artery and anterior and posterior cecal branches. Okay, or cecal artery or ileal branch. Okay, like that it is has the blood supply. A venous drainage by the respective ileocecal vein, and that ileocecal vein is drained into superior mesenteric vein. This superior mesenteric vein is drained into the portal vein. Nerve supply by the parasympathetic by the vagus nerve and sympathetic by the thoracic levator and lumbar 1 vertebra. Can go for the lymphatic drainage. Lymphatic drainage is mainly by the cecum is drained by the ileocecal lymph nodes. There are two types of group of lymph nodes ileocecal. One is upper group of ileocholic gland and lower group of ileocholic gland. This is a, you can see as a, this is mainly drained by the cecum by the lower group of a ileocholic lymph nodes. In this picture you can easily see these are the appendicular these are the, you can see as a appendicular lymph nodes. Okay, these are the ciliar lymph nodes or ileocholic lymph nodes. Okay, these are the paracholic, means just para means peripheral or side paracholic lymph nodes, and these are the superior mesenteric lymph nodes, and these are the inferior mesenteric lymph nodes, and these are the lateral aortic lymph nodes, and these are the epicholic lymph nodes. Okay, like that this is the main types of lymph nodes. Okay, like this arrangement is the lymph nodal arrangement, you can see clearly in this, like that. There are mainly lymph nodes are divided. The cecum is mainly drained by the ileocholic lymph nodes. Ileocholic lymph nodes drained by the superior mesenteric lymph nodes. Superior mesenteric lymph nodes at last drained by the celiac lymph nodes. Okay, celiac lymph nodes drained by the cisterna chyli. Okay, like that lymphatic drainage is there. They are mainly large intestine completely drained by the paracholic, superior mesenteric lymph nodes, inferior mesenteric lymph nodes, intermediate cholic lymph nodes, ileocholic lymph nodes, lateral aortic lymph nodes, epicholic lymph nodes, appendicular lymph nodes, and celiac lymph nodes. These are like that. Lymphatic drainage is there, but here we are studying the only cecum. Here ileocecum is mainly drained by the ileocholic lymph nodes. Okay, can go for the next line. Then it has the ileocecal junction. Ileocecal means cecum means it is a part of the large intestine. Ileo means it is a part of the small intestine. This is junction between the ileum and cecum. It is a ileocecal junction. It is a junction of a small intestine and large intestine. Terminal part of the what you can see as a ileum and cecum. Okay, it has the two lips, you can see. Okay, these are the upper lip and this is the lower lip, and these are the two frenulum. Frenulum means it is a fold of a skin or fold of a mucosal tissue. Okay, that secures the motion of a mobile organ in the body. Okay, it is a, or it is a, as a, it is a frenulum means it is a small ridge or fold of a skin or mucous membrane that helps to anchor a semi-mobile body parts. You can, in our body, frenulum are found on the in the lips also, under surface of the lip. Okay, in the penis, in the part of the female genital organs, and internally it is present in the brain and digestive tract. Okay, in general frenulum. Okay, and lips function is closing and opening of a valve. Okay, the terminal part of the ileum enters the large intestine at the junction of the cecum with the ascending colon. Another one thing, this is from the lower lips connects the ileocecal valve, and upper lips is connect horizontal lips of a ileocecal valve. Okay, or ileocolic valve. Here it starts the ileocolic junction. Here it is forms the ileocelic junction. Lower lip is forms the ileocelic junction, and upper lips forms the ileocolic junction. Okay, the terminal part of the ileum enters the large intestine at the junction of the cecum with the ascending colon. The opening is provides with the two folds or lips, which forms the so-called ileocecal valve. The appendix communicates with the cavity of the cecum through an opening located below and behind the ileocecal opening. The distance between these two openings, it is a 2 cm, and this opening, upper appendicular opening, is guarded by one wall. That wall is a wall of Gerlach. Okay, it is very important, wall of Gerlach. Again, in this picture you can see as a this is a two folds of a ileocecal valve or junction. This is the upper, it is horizontal, and it is semilunar. Okay, it is a lower lip, it is a semilunar, upper is horizontal. It has the two connections of folds of a folds that connect the valve. These connection folds or mucosal folds or small ridge. Okay, small ridge that helps to anchor a semi-mobile body parts of a ileocecal junction. Okay, these are say as a frenulum. This is a left frenulum and this is a right frenulum. Right frenulum is larger or longer than the left frenulum. Okay, then this lower lips, it connects the ileocecal junction, and upper lips forms the ileocolic junction. And this is has the opening of the vermiform appendix. It is says guarded by the wall of Gerlach. You can see in this also, it is a lips, two lips closing. This is lower lip, this is upper is horizontal, lower is semilunar. This is a left frenulum and this is a right frenulum. Can go for the next. The valves has a two lips and two frenulums. The upper lip is horizontal and lies at the ileocolic junction. Lower lip is a longer and concave and it lies at the ileocecal junction. The frenulum are formed by the fusion of the lips at the ends of the apparatus. These are left or anterior and right is or it is posterior frenulum. The left end apparatus is rounded and right end is narrow and pointed. Then control and mechanism of a valve or ileocecal valve. The valve is actively closed by the sympathetic nerve and which causes tonic contractions of the ileocecal sphincter. It is mechanically closed by the distension of cecum. The function of this valve is it prevents reflux from the cecum to ileum. It regulates the passage of ileal contents into the cecum, prevents them from passing too quickly. Because of that, what happens, there is very common for the tuberculosis of a ileocecal junction, okay, or terminal part of the ileum. Then clinical anatomy. There is causes of commonly involved cecum is some diseases. There is amoebiasis causing amoebic dysentery, intestinal tuberculosis or ileocecal tuberculosis, C of a cecum, and inflammation of a cecum, it says a typhlitis, okay, and ululus of a cecum, because cecum is a movable organ, because of there is common for the volvulus. Surgical anatomy. Cecum, transverse colon and sigmoid colon are mobile structures can undergo the volvulus. Which are the mobile structures? Cecum, transverse colon and sigmoid colon are mobile structures can undergo volvulus. Where the mesocolon is present, the cecum and proximal ascending colon are usually mobile. It is this condition that is termed mobile cecum, which can result in volvulus of the cecum and right colon. You can go for the surgery. Cecofixy means fixation of a cecum in the it is as a cecofixy to avoid the volvulus of right colon. Cecofixy extends up to the ascending colon is performed. Suture the cecal and ascending tinea to the lateral peritoneum within interrupted. 3.0 synthetic absorbable material or silk and perform the appendicectomy. Now we can go for the cecostomy. It's done if necessary using a Foley's catheter. Next class we discuss about the anatomy of a large intestine. Thank you very much.